set up and ready to go. Lights coming down. Wheel stand on the tower side. Pac-Man slamming those gears as they run through that 8th mile. And as they come up to the finish line, it's going to be Pac-Man by a nose. And Gary Peak, the loser in that round, 6:30 to Pac-Man's winning 7:14. Next up, Jackie Farrell on the tower side, a Dragon Lady from Jacksonville, Florida. 2180cc powered Volkswagen going up against Tim Westmoreland from Manassas, Virginia. Hometown boy, 1900cc dragster. And you talk about great racing action. You can have it whether it's a lady or whether it's a man. We're going to show you some of the finest right now. Jackie Farrell, been around for a while, easing into those starting beams, going to make Tim Westmoreland sit there. And let's see if he's going to do a little bit of psych job on the lady as they get ready to go. Into the beams they go, staging up ever so carefully. Now here comes the lights. Tower side off first. Good green light for Jackie Farrell as she's on the gears. Let's see if Tim Westmoreland's going to be able to catch her on the tower side. No way. Looks like Tim Westmoreland had a problem. And Jackie Farrell wins it with an 8.74. No time for Tim Westmoreland as he had a problem. Back to the starting line, Mark Westmoreland, another hometown boy from Manassas, Virginia, a 67 Candy Red Buggy, 2110 cc's. His competition, Pete Peak from Peak's Performance Sponsored Car, 52 split window coupe. I guess that's what you'd call it. Tom, we're going to have to get some clarification on a little bit later on, okay? Both cars staged, easing into the starting beams. Here comes the Christmas tree. Who's it going to be this time? Mark Westmoreland, Pete Peak, ready to go. Tower side off first. And as they go through the gears, both cars starting to move. Now, Mark Westmoreland, is he going to be able to hold it? No, sir. Pete Peak on the spectator side, 7.02 the winning time. Mark Westmoreland losing time, 7.47. A lot of wild and woolly racing action going on this afternoon here at Manassas at Old Dominion Raceway. And two more wild and woolly guys coming to the starting line right now. Dwight Myers in the dragster against Jerry Cornatzer from Mocksville, North Carolina, one of our southern boys from way down around Carolina way. Myers dialed in a 620, Cornatzer dialed a 7.08. Myers gets to go last this time. Jerry Cornatzer, long way down the track is all that Myers is going to be able to see as the Humbug car on the spectator side has got a big head start right off the starting line. Both cars staged up, ready to go, bringing the revs up on the engine. Myers, remember now, gotta wait. Cornatzer, wait, good on a green light. Here comes Myers at the finish line. It's gonna be Dwight Myers, your winner in the dragster, 6.30 on a 620 dial-in. Jerry Cornatzer runs a 7.14 on a 7.08. And now we've got a pair of 67 bugs ready for your entertainment this afternoon. Tower side, Larry Westmoreland from Gainesville, Virginia, going against Mike McNeely from Severna Park, Maryland. Pair of 67 bugs, one red, one yellow. This one ought to be really good. Dialed in a 7.18 for Larry Westmoreland, 7.49 for Mike McNeely. And as they get ready into the starting beams, left lane, the spectator side off first, tower side, red lights. Larry Westmoreland has just lost it all right there on the starting line. Mike McNeely says, oh, heck with it. I'm just going to take a scenic cruise down this 8-mile dragway. Larry Westmoreland runs on through with a losing time of 10:31. Mike McNeely, your winner, 12:69. There you go. And that's one of the first ones you'll see this afternoon. Maybe a few more red lights this afternoon. Just have to watch them close. That's what happens when you anticipate. And Mike Hall going to be the next up to go against Kenny Joyce. Mike Hall hails from Chesterfield, Virginia, 65 bug. Kenny Joyce from Kernersville, North Carolina. A pair of beautiful red cards. Easing into the starting beams. Got to light up the staging lights first. And of course, that means once they get up there and those lights come on, they're ready for racing action. Easing in, here we go. Both cars staged. Lights coming down. Tower side gets to lead first, and it's a tower side leaving first. Look out, though. Kenny Joyce getting caught by that ugly red light right there on the starting line. And it's going to be Mike Hall, your winner, runs a 7.48. Losing time for Kenny Joyce, even without the red light, 7.47 seconds. Now, we've been concerned with Volkswagens all day long. Looky here, 70 Porsche Speedster. Chuck Crispin on the tower side. He'll be going against Bill Rathburn from Clayton, Michigan, an alcohol-injected 2275cc bug. Tower side dialed in a 7.40. Spectator side dialed in a 7.10. Let's see if we're going to have some fine racing action out of these two. The alcohol-injected 2275cc car Looks like he may have just a little bit of advantage this time. He's been running consistent dial-ins all day. The Porsche away first. Let's see if Bill Rathbun's going to be able to catch him. The Porsche almost to the finish line. Porsche gets there first. Chuck Crispin, the 70 Porsche Speedster, runs a 7.67. Bill Rathbun losing time, 7.82. Danny Sorrow from Wheaton, Maryland now on the starting line, going against Joe Langlois from Severna Park, Maryland, a 70 bug on the spectator side. We've got some more coming up for you, and I'll tell you, we're going to see a lot of bugs this afternoon, but we're going to be seeing a lot of innovative ideas in Volkswagens. Spectator side away first. Let's see if Joe Langlois is going to be able to hold us off. He's pulling out farther at the 8th mile, and he takes the win, 7.46. Danny Sorrow losing time, 7.76 seconds. And now we're moving into the muscle car division. I call it muscle car because I always love these dragsters as they get ready to come to the starting line. Dave Fisher from Huntington, Pennsylvania, a 1955 bug, 1800cc, and look out, he's got his work cut out for him. Mark Harrington from Bryan, Ohio, a fuel-injected, turbocharged 2443cc dragster. Dave Fisher dialed in a 735. Mark Harrington dialed in, listen to this, a 6.20. So don't you know, Dave Fisher got a big head start off the starting line. But let me tell you one thing, if I've known anything in drag racing, no matter how much the head start, there's always one guy that may be just a little bit quicker, and it could be all won and lost right in the finish line lights. And as they ease into the starting beams, the turbocharged dragster easing in very, very, very slowly. The 55 bucks says, oh, come on, I'm waiting on you. He's already staged and ready to go. And as the Christmas tree gets ready to come down, let's see who it's going to be. Volkswagen Dragster or VW Bugs? How about it, fans? Tell me, which one do you want? I guess it's just about even. Everybody's standing up yelling, and the VW Bug off and running. Let's see if the turbocharged Dragster going to get him. Here he comes. Horsepower. Look out. Got a little bit of smoke. Dave Fisher on the tower side goes down to defeat, 7.35 seconds. Mark Harrington from Bryan, Ohio, the winner, with a 6.31 second run. Oh, that had to be good. Hope he didn't hurt anything on the car, though. It was smoking quite readily. Back on the starting line, pair of conventional style bugs. Frank Aragoni on the tower side, 56 bug. Going against the spectator side, Richard Parker from Williamstown, New Jersey, in a 1966 bug. You got to watch out. Richard Parker always tough in these events. Both cars staged. Here we go. Lights coming down, tower side leaving first. And it's a red light for Frank Aragonia. Goes down in defeat. Richard Parker cruises on down that 8th mile. And it's going to be Richard Parker, the winner, 7.08, as Frank Aragonia records a 7.19. But the red light knocks his chances all the way to 0. And next up, our two competitors, Henry Williams from Trenton, South Carolina, one of our southern boys coming up all the way to Manassas, going against Buddy Chiclow from Winchester, Virginia, a 69 bug, the hot chocolate car. Tower side dialed in 723, spectator side dialed in 713. And as they ease on into the starting beams, both of them doing little bitty mini wheelies as they burn in the rubber on that starting line, trying to get the best traction possible on this beautiful afternoon. High today, somewhere going to be around 96 degrees. I'll tell you what, I can stand it. Oh yeah, beautiful weather. Look out, off and running side by side. This may be the closest race we've had this afternoon. Tower side, Henry Williams. Let's see if he's going to be able to pull it out. Yes, sir. 7.23 for Henry Williams. Buddy Chiclow losing time, 7.17. And that one was really close right there at the finish line. Up next, one of the hardest runs in the world to win by. And that's when you have to run by yourself. A by run for Ken Overstreet from Roanoke, Virginia, 2180cc Volkswagen truck. Beautiful car. He's dialed in a 7.30, but that doesn't make any difference on a by run. Bouncing the wheels a little bit as he grabs the gears going through that 8th mile. Smoking it around just a little bit, but that doesn't matter. He runs through with a 7.43 for Ken Overstreet. And that's going to wrap it up for coming up on first round. Both cars staged, getting ready. Tree going to be coming down. George Boland's got his work cut out for him. Starts out first, a little bit of a wheel stand. Uh-oh, Super V car has got a red light on the starting line. Steve Picaro on the tower side goes through for the victory. 9.78 to a losing time for George Boland, 7.59. The red light got him. Bill Folk on the tower side going against Mark Mathewson from Aweja, New York. And I guess I got that right. I'm from Georgia, so I don't really know, but I'm just going to try to get this in the best way I can. Dune buggy style body on the spectator side, dialed in 950. Identical dial in. Mark Mathewson, heads up racing, 950. Lights coming down. Spectator side moves first. Bill Folk has got a lot of room to make up as Mark Mathewson's not waiting for him as they finish down that 8th mile. It's going to be Bill Folk on the tower side, just caught him. Mark Mathewson goes down to defeat, 9.65 losing time. Bill Folk winning time, 9.69. J. Cephas Acoletti, and I guarantee with a name like that, you got to have money in your pocket going against a man with no name. We call him that because I don't have a card with his name on it. The white dune buggy on the spectator side dialed in at 8.02. J. Cephas Acoletti dialed in 7.85 on the tower side. Both cars stage, trees on and green. White dune buggy out in front, but here comes J. Cephas moving on down that 8th mile. Got a little bit of smoke coming out, and right at the finish line, he takes the win, 7.80 to a losing time of 7.95. Nathan Elwood Lee, our next contender from Bowie, Maryland, on the tower side. He's going against Michael Cole, hometown boy from Manassas Park, Virginia. 1956 oval window VW. Mike dialed in 8.90. Nathan Lee dialed in 8.32. Burning those tires in, trying to get them hot, because the hotter the tires are, the traction compound that they've got here makes them a little bit sticky, so that makes the ET a little bit quicker. Most of the time anyway. Sometimes they go up in smoke, sometimes they don't, but he's going to take his chances. Nathan Lee, Bowie, Maryland, staged, and the spectator side, Mike Cole got a little bit of a head start. Let's see if Nathan Lee going to be able to catch him. 8th mile is a long way down there for these VWs, and it's going to be tower side lost it. Nathan Lee wasn't able to catch him. Michael Lee long gone down that 8th mile at 9.04, losing time 8.54 for Nathan Lee. And if you're looking for a Chop Top 57, we've got it coming up for you now. Mike Stinnett from Salem, Virginia on the tower side. He'll be going against George Graybeal from Glen Burnie, Maryland in a Baja Bug. George Graybeal dialed in 9.09. Mike Stinnett dialed in 8.90. Not much of a handicap head start. The tower side is going to have to wait and let George Graybeal get out there just a little bit. But when you're talking about dial-ins, 1/10 of a second on the clock equals only to about 2 lights, believe it or not. There's a 0.50 between the lights. So it's almost negligible when you look and see these lights coming down. So it's going to be almost a heads-up start with Mike Stinnett having to wait. George Graybeal on the spectator side gets a head start. And Mike Stinnett off and running. Let's see what's going to happen. He red lights. George Graybeal on the spectator side, no matter what the finish line says. George Graybeal, your winner with a 10.97 is Mike Stinnett. Red lights his chances away. He still runs 9.24. And it looks like we've got another buy run coming up. I understand that Ron Smith has broken his machine. Bill Verveke from Dover, Pennsylvania, 57 Baja, 1,835 cubic centimeters. Romping, stomping, get up and go. He dialed in 8.40, but it really doesn't matter because he's got a buy run and he's not going to have to worry about any breakout. Off and running down that 8th mile. He's looking real good. Bill Verveke, Dover, Pennsylvania, doing him proud as he goes through the 8th mile. He runs an 8.38 seconds. 8.38, looking good. Ken Bredev from Leesburg, Virginia, 64 sedan, running a 1910cc motor, going against the spectator side. Paul Langlois from Severna Park, Maryland, 68 bug, Type 1, 2,275 cc's. Paul Langlois dialed in at 8.89 seconds. Ken Bredev dialed in a 9 flat. Both cars burning out those tires, trying to get them good and hot. Doing a little bit of fishtailing back on the far side. Paul Langlois trying to get those tires good and sticky. I don't know for sure if it's going to make much of a difference, but I'll guarantee you he's going to try for everything that little car's got in it. Paul Langlois, spectator side. Ken Bredev, tower side. Both cars running almost identical times. And Langlois out first. Let's see if Ken Bredev is going to be able to catch him. Langlois still pulling away and making it even further. Langlois, your winner, 9.11. Ken Bredev losing time 9.77. Good race, yes sirree. And it looks like I got all my wires crossed back here. Ron Smith not out. He's over here on the spectator side, but I've got bigger problems than that. Somebody just knocked my cards all over the floor, and I don't have anything in order anymore, and it's hard for me to try and look down. So we're just going to try to do this the best way we can. Got a couple of them up here on the starting line now. I know that Ron Smith on the spectator side. Let's see what he's going to be able to do as they're going down that 8 mile. He's pulling it far, far away. He dialed in 8.92. No problem as he goes through with a 9.12. Mama said there'd be days like this, but I didn't expect him to go this bad. Cards all over the floor. The only card that I've got in my hand right now to tell me who I've got going. Dave Webster in the spectator side, a 72 Silver Carmen Ghia, 1,835 cc's. And I apologize for not knowing the name of the guy in the tower side, but we're still going to call him the way we see him. Tower side off and running. Let's see what he's going to be able to do against Dave Webster and the Silver Carmen Ghia. The Ghia gets by him at the 8th mile, takes the win. He dialed in a 9, make it an 8.05. He runs an 8.24 for the win. Back to the starting line. A couple of beautiful machines. Herb Mayers from Louisville, North Carolina. 63 sedan now. 2007 cc's. Easing up on the starting line. His competition, James Sartwell of Laurel, Maryland, 75 Rabbit. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. He dialed in 7.65. Herb Mayers from Louisville, North Carolina, dialed in 830. And it looks like the 63 sedan has a few problems somewhere along the way, not sounding quite right. And Herb Myers still having problems. My expert technical advisor here, Tom DeLassio, says it could be a CV joint, whatever the heck that is. Herb Myers steps out of the car. That's going to take care of that car this afternoon. James Sardwell from Laurel, Maryland, 75 Rabbit. This is a Type 1 motor and drivetrain on this car. It's air-cooled. That's why it goes so fast. Let's watch it go. He down at 7.65. Moving down that 8th mile, he goes 7.90 for the win. It's a tough way to take the win, but you know what they say. Take them any way you can get them. Starting line action once again on the spectator side. Kenny Ludka from Seabrook, Maryland, 72 sedan, 2180 cc motor. His competition, Joe Rogers from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, one of our homegrown Southerners. 65 buggy, 1,835 cc's. Easing into the starting beams. Dial in 920 on Joe Rogers. No dial in on Kenny Ludka. I'm sure they've got it right on the starting line. Tower side gets to go first. Red light on the spectator side. Joe Rogers going to be your winner for Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as he moves that dune buggy all the way down that 8th mile. And he comes through with a 9.96. 9.96. Good race. Moving now to second round in Super Pro. Mike Hall from Musselbug, Chesterfield, Virginia, dialed in 7.40 on the tower side. William F. Pete Peak, that's what they call him, dialed in 6.95 on the tower side. Doing a little bit of wheel stand, loves to make those spectators happy. This ought to be good. 7.40 dial in on the tower side, 6.95 on the spectator side. Could be all won and lost right on the starting line. Both these guys super quick. Who's it gonna be, red or yellow? You can't say which Volkswagen. It's gotta be red or yellow, one of the two. Tower side off and running, a little bit of pop and wheel stand. Mike Hall out and running. Let's see if he can hold him off. Pete Peak not able to come through, takes the loss. Mike Hall, the winner, with a 7.47. Pete Peak loses with a 7.08, and it was still a good race. On the starting line one more time. Good looking cars about. Purple Dragster belongs to Dwight Myers on the tower side, dialed in a 620. Chuck Crispin in the Porsche Speedster. He's dialed in a 7.40. And we've got a good race going here now because these two guys have been running right on their dial-ins, and it could be won and lost right on the starting line. The Porsche gets to leave first. Purple Dragster of Dwight Myers got to wait. Let's see what he's going to be able to do with him. He's got a lot of ground he's going to have to make up because Chuck Christman does not wait around for anybody. Lights are coming on the Christmas tree. being very careful on those staging lights. Now both cars up. Waiting for the starter to go. Bringing the engine revs up. Let's see what they're going to be able to do.
You see the little arrow line.
Spectator side off first. Here comes the Porsche. Now the dragster making tracks down the 8th mile. Here he comes. Long on. Can he get him? No. Chuck Crispin runs a 7.58 on a 740 dial-in. Dwight Myers loses 6.290 off a 620. Here's our lady driver back again. Jackie Farrell dialed in a 7.14 on the tower side. Rich Parker on the spectator side dialed in 7.07. Going to be a close race. Almost heads-up race. Little wheel stand for the lady driver. Let's see if the VW bug is going to be able to do anything. Uh-oh, Jackie Farrell has a problem. Rich Parker goes through for the win. 7.21 to a losing 8.93 for Jackie Farrell. Mark Harrington up next against Joe Langlois. Harrington dialed in a 620. Langlois dialed in a 741. Langlois in the spectator lane. Tower side, Harrington. Langlois away first. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to it. Langlois red lights on the starting line. Mark Harrington, your winner, 6.58 to a losing 7.44 red light for Joe Langlois. Ken Overstreet and Larry Westmoreland up next. Tower side, Ken Overstreet dialed in a 7.35. Larry Westmoreland on the spectator lane dialed in a 7.18. Burning those tires off, getting them good and clean, good and warm, trying to get the traction right on the starting line. Not much of a handicap difference on this, so it'll be virtually almost heads-up racing between these two conventional style bugs. A little bit of a wheel stand. Ken Overstreet thinks he's got it all in the bag. We'll see in just a second. Both cars staged up, easing into the starter beams. Here we go. Starter getting ready to flip the tree. Off they run. Tower side, Ken Overstreet side by side with Larry Westmoreland. Westmoreland, let's see. Yes, sir, he pulls it out. Westmoreland, the winner, 7.24. Losing time for Overstreet, 7.35 seconds. Kenny Wilson on the tower side, and Henry Williams ready to do that dirty stuff called drag racing. Carmen Gia, open style body for the tower side. Kenny Wilson down in a 7.08. Henry Williams dialed in a 7.23 seconds. One thing that you'll notice this afternoon, most of these cars are very close in their times. Only occasionally will you see dial-ins where you've got 3 or 4 lights difference on the handicap. Most of them are only a light, maybe a half a light. And believe you me, that computes into half second. Look at that wheel stand. Kenny Wilson way up in the air with the Carmen Gia. Henry Williams taking advantage of it, and he takes the win. 7.27 to a losing time of 7.18 for Kenny Wilson. Second round pro category. Jay Accolette in a 65 sedan going against Mark Mathewson. Mathewson dialed in a 9.54. Accolette dialed in a 7.75 seconds. Tower side, Accolette. Spectator side, Mathewson in the dune buggy car. Dune buggy off first. The spectator side, Mark Mathewson out and running. Let's see if Accolette can catch him. Long way to make up. I don't think he's going to do it. No sirree. Spectator side, Mark Mathewson, the winner, 9.49 to a losing time of 8.36 seconds on the tower side. He broke out. Looky here. They tell me that he broke out with a 9.49. No wonder he was down to 9.54. Mark Graybeal on the tower side, Mike Cole. Mike Cole down in an 8.90. Got my tongue hung around my eye teeth and I can't see what I'm saying. Mark Cole down in an 8.90. Mike Graybeal dialed in a 9.06. Doesn't look like either one of these two guys wants to get up on the starting line. No wonder they got a little bit of, maybe a little bit of oil up there, or some water. Something dripped from the one of the cars, just went back down. Evidently from Accoletti's car, or Accolette. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing some of these names right, because believe you me, us Georgia rednecks have a problem pronouncing anything. We don't know whether it's September, October, or November. Now I'll leave you guessing what I said, okay? Gray Beal and Cole back on the starting line. Looks like they're all set to go. Tower side, Gray Beal. Spectator side, Mike Cole. 9.06 for Gray Beal. Off and running. It's going to be close. Side by side. Cole starting to eke it out now at the finish line. Can he catch him? No way. Mike Cole, the spectator lane, the winner. 9.11 as Gray Beal goes down to defeat at 9.65. Here's Paul Langlois from Severna Park, Maryland. Dialed in at 8.89 on the tower side. Bill Vervecchi in a Baja Bug. Paul Langlois away first. Vervecchi has got to catch him. Is he going to be able to do it? Langlois way out in front. No sirree. Dialed in at 8.89. He runs 8.87. And he red lighted. Look back on the starting line. How did I miss that? No sirree. Vervecchi is your winner. Dave Webster dialed in at 8.05 on the tower side. Ron Smith dialed in at 8.92 on the spectator side. Carmen Gia versus regular Bug. Dave Webster's beautiful car. 8.05 dial in. Rod Smith 8.92 in the Bug. Smith away first. Here comes the Carmen Gia of Dave Webster. Off and running. He's got a little bit to make up, but here he comes. Drives right by him. Ron Smith having a losing effort as Dave Webster takes the win. 8.05 right on his dial in. Losing time for Ron Smith 8.95. Rogers and Sartwell. Rogers on the tower side dialed in 920. Sartwell dialed in a 765. Off and running with the VW. I guess you'd call this a dune buggy, regular sand buggy. Some people call them that. Tower side not going to be enough as Sartwell flies right by him at the finish line with an 8.42 seconds on a 765 dialed in. Losing effort 10.93 for Rogers. And Picaro coming up right now gets a bye run. Beautiful car, got the blacked out headlights. So it really makes no difference what his dial in. I think his dial in was a 930. Just taking a leisurely stroll down that 8th mile. No matter what he comes up with, he is going to be your winner. And as we told you earlier in Two split window modified. Brad Baker, all the way from Michigan, brings us 82 frame car. Third round Super Pro action moving around to the starting line now as we've got racing action coming at you. Hot and heavy from Manassas, Virginia. And once again, the big boys coming to the starting line. Chuck Chrisman against Mike Hall. Both cars dialed in 7.40. Mike Hall gonna be in the tower lane. Spectator lane belongs to Chuck Chrisman. These guys have been running consistently on their dial-in, and if we were to give you something that will never happen, technically speaking, if these guys were both dialed in at 7.40, which they are, and they left the starting line at exactly the same time, theoretically, these cars, if they both run on their dial-in, will get to the finish line at exactly the same time. But I don't think that's ever happened in drag racing history. Both cars doing their burn-ins, looking real good. The speedster, Chuck Chrisman. On the spectator side, the muscle bug, Mike Hall on the tower side, heads up racing down that 8th mile. Here we go, Manassas, Virginia. When you talk about sweet racing, we've got it for you today. Chuck Chrisman easing ever so slightly into that starting beam. Those, what they call the more shallow that you stage, the better your chances of catching a red light. Okay, hey, look what we got here going. What did I tell you? Red light, Chuck Chrisman, and I called it right off the bat. He tried to stage too shallow and he got caught. He runs a 7.42, but it's a losing effort. Mike Hall, the muscle bug, the winner, 7.449. Up next, Henry Williams on the tower side, dialed in a 7.23. Rich Parker on the spectator side, dialed in a 7.07. So that means Rich Parker's going to have to wait for just a moment as Henry Williams gets that head start. Both cars staged up. Christmas tree coming down momentarily. There we go. Right side moves away. Well, they move away almost identically. You talk about a hole shot. Tower side, Henry Williams got his hands full, and it's going to be Rich Parker, the winner, 7.14 on a 7.07 dial-in. Henry Williams losing effort, 7.27 seconds. Getting ready for the big bombing action coming up. Here's Mark Harrington, Turbo Dragster. Last time out, Turbo Super Time. This time he's got his hands full. Larry Westmoreland, no slouch in a timekeeper car. Larry Westmoreland down in a 7.18. Mark Harrington down in a 6.20. And this one ought to be a fine race because these two guys are right off the mark when it comes to getting ready to go down that green light. Larry Westmoreland staging up very carefully. Mark Harrington staged up. Christmas tree getting ready to come down. Spectator side gets the head start. And there goes the bug. Turbo Dragster gonna make that power. Is he gonna be able to do it? He needs a top end charge to do it. Is it gonna be enough? No way. Larry Westmoreland, the winner, 7.52 to Mark Harrington's losing time, 6.94. Okay, here we go. Quarterfinals in the pro category. Mike Cole, Manassas Park, Virginia, going against J. Cephas Acolyte. Cole dialed in 895. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Acolyte all set to go. Christmas tree getting ready to start. Both cars easing very carefully into the starting beams, making sure those staging lights are just barely bumped to come on because that start is all important, especially with these cars. They get quite a jump right off the starting line. Cole's light coming down. He's off and running. Here goes Acolyte. Oh, Acolyte's got a problem with Mike Cole zooming on down at 8th mile, and he's going to take an easy win. He runs a 9:13 as J. Cephas Acolyte has a problem on the starting line. Looks like he may have broken something, possibly a CV joint in that car, pushing it back very dejectedly. We've been extremely lucky this afternoon. Very little breakage. But J. Cephas Acolyte is one of those guys who's going to go home a little bit poorer than when he came here this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying the spectacle this afternoon. For those of you who've never been to a Volkswagen race before, I'm sure you're finding this just as entertaining as I am. Got another pair of good racers coming up in just a second. Bill Verovecki from Dover, Pennsylvania, driving a 57 Baja Bug. And he'll be going against Dave Webster in a 72 Carmen Ghia style body car. Verecki dialed in an 840. Dave Webster dialed in an 8.05. Uh-oh, look at there. Dave Webster's skidding a little bit sideways, getting all the horsepower to the ground, burning those tires off to make them good and sticky. Gurecki coming to the line very carefully, very deliberately, because he knows he's got to go. Webster been extremely strong on his dial-ins this afternoon, running almost exactly what he dialed in on. Gurecki out first. Here comes Dave Webster. He's got a little bit to make up. Can he do it? The Gia's coming on strong. Gurecki moving on at the finish line. And it's Dave Webster holding him off. He runs an 8:05 right on his dial-in. Bill Gurecki goes down. He runs an 8:37. And would you believe he broke out by 3/100ths and still couldn't catch him? That's the difference on the starting line. James Sartwell from Laurel, Maryland at 75 Rabbit. Dial in 765. His competition this afternoon, Steve Piccaro from New Jersey. Steve dialed in a 9.30. And it's going to be extremely tough to beat Sartwell this afternoon. He always runs very consistently. Good running car. But Piccaro's going to put him to the metal here in just a second. Both cars stage. There goes Piccaro down the track. Sartwell has got to go. Boy, he's banging that thing like you wouldn't believe. All the way through the floorboard on that foot, and he wins it. He runs a 775 on a 765 dial-in, while Piccaro runs a 921 on a 931 dial-in. He broke out by 9/100ths of a second. Moving now into second round action in modified stock. Bob Hannum gets a by run. Gene Miller broke the car. And it's going to be Bob Hannum taking all the way down the 8th mile and trips the clocks off. He runs a 1041 on a 970 dial-in. Easiest race he's had all afternoon. Got a sweet young thing coming up for you now. Donna Harris from Hyattsville, Maryland. Her dial-in 1060 going against Charlie Klein from Richmond, Virginia. His dial-in 985. This one ought to be extremely close. The young lady out and running. Here comes the little car with the big exposed roll cage. And he's off and running. He's really moving down that mile. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. He runs a 983. He broke out. He broke out by 2/100ths of a second. That makes Donna Harris the winner. She runs 1141 on a 1060 dial-in. The young lady advances. Next up, Sean Dowdle from Landham, Maryland, driving a 1700cc VW van. His dial-in 1175. And his competition, Doug Murphy from Baltimore, Maryland, in a 65 buck, 1776 cc's. And his dial-in 973. Sean Dowdle driving a 1972 Type 2 Volkswagen bus. And I used to call them Vanagons, call them all Vanagons, but I understand that the Vanagon did not come out until 1980, so I stand corrected on that. Sean Dowdle gets a big head start. Doug Murphy going to have to play catch-up down that 8th mile. And it's going to be close. Any way you look at it, when you're behind somebody and you see him heading down that track, it puts an awful lot of pressure on you. Here comes the green light down on the left-hand side. Sean Dowdle out and running. Doug Murphy, red lights right on the starting line. Goodness, we're having a few of those this afternoon. Sean Dowdle still going down. Evidently, he hasn't seen the red light. Doug Murphy comes by him anyway. And he runs 1187 on a 973 dial-in, but it doesn't do any good because of the red light. Sean Dowdle runs a 1346. Next two cars coming up, Charles Einer dialed in 1212. Richard McCary dialed in 970. Einer out first. McCary's got to play catch-up. Einer going just as hard as he can, but look back on the starting line. It's a red light. No wonder Einer's in such a hurry to get to the finish line. He runs a 12:18 and he's still red lighted. Richard McCary, your winner, he runs a 15 seconds flat. Moving back to the starting line now, Dennis Hevener from Mount Sidney, Virginia, dialed in 11:54. His competition, Chip Simmons from Columbia, Maryland. And they're all set to go, both cars in the pre-stage and the stage beams. Hevener gets the lead first. There he goes. He dialed in 11:54 now. Chip Simmons, both these cars running very, very strong. Here comes Simmons. He's charging hard. Can he catch him? He's moving on like gangbusters at the finish line. Hevener's light came on. Looky here. Hevener runs 11:43 on 11:54. He broke out. Chip Simmons breaks out. He runs a 980 on a 985. Simmons, your winner by 5/100ths of a second. That's the least amount of breakout. Next pair on the starting line, Steve Dantzler dialed in a 1040 against Alan Parker. His dial in 1150. Parker in the Gia on this side. Steve Dantzler from Rockville, Maryland. Both cars staged. Christmas tree coming down. Parker out first in the Carmen Gia. He's off and running. Let's see if Dantzler's going to be able to catch up with him. It looks like Parker's just starting to put him away right at the finish line, and he comes through. He runs a 10.94. He breaks out on an 11.50 dial-in, runs a 10.94. Steve Dantzler, your winner. Let's check his time. He runs a 10.42 on a 10.40 dial-in. Sid Pulliam, the Super Pickle, dialed in 12.44 against William O'Brien. His dial-in 10.60. The Super Pickle, one of the hardest cars in the world to beat. This guy's been all over the world, and he knows how to race that car. He's going to be strong, I'll tell you what. This afternoon, he's just putting everybody away. Let's see what he's going to be able to do with O'Brien. The Super Pickle out and away. He's got an automatic transmission in there, so he doesn't have to worry about shifting. O'Brien has got to worry about those gears, and he's going to have a long way to go to catch up with the Super Pickle. He's doing it, and he caught him right at the finish line. Uh-oh, he caught him too quick. O'Brien breaks out. He runs a 10.57 on a 10.60 dial-in. Sid Pulliam, the Super Pickle, your winner. He runs a 12.44 right on his dial-in. Okay, Robert McCulloch dialed in a 10.71. His competition, Eddie Woodmansey, his dial-in 11.04. And the Christmas tree has started down. Both cars leave almost together. McCulloch has got to go. Woodmansey not waiting on him. The classical style Volkswagen still out in front. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. No, McCulloch gets there and catches him, but he breaks out. He runs a 10.65 on a 10.71 dial-in. Eddie Woodmansey, your winner. He runs 11.12 on an 11.04. Here's Dave Haas. His dial-in 10.70 against Jim Otterbein. His dial-in 10.50. Otterbein, extremely tough out there this afternoon. Been running very consistently on his times. Otterbein gets to lead first. No, he didn't really. Hey, it was such a good start. Haas caught asleep at the switch. Here comes Otterbein. Down to the finish line, and it's Otterbein, your winner, 10.65. Dave Haas runs a 10.84. Good racing this afternoon. Joshua Kerr in the Baja Bug, running on a 12.25 dial-in against Mike Sikowski. His dial-in 10.70. Multicolored Bug. Kerr gets to lead first. Almost pulls a wheel stand. Bogs the car down. Gives Sikowski a chance, and he's making everything of it. He's caught him at the halfway point, and he runs right by him. It's going to be Sikowski, the winner. He runs a 10.76 on a dial-in clock. Kerr runs a 12.67 on a 12.25 dial-in. Moving now to third round modified stock category. Bob Hannum from Manassas, Virginia, hometown boy, dialed in 9.70 against our young lady racer. Here's Donna Harris from Hyattsville, Maryland. Her dial-in 11 seconds flat. This young lady, you never can tell, she's liable to be our champion this afternoon. She's been running extremely good, getting a couple of good breaks. But Hannum is no slouch. Let me tell you, she's going to have her hands full. And there he goes. Harris has got the lead, and Hannum is pulling on. Look at Hannum go. Halfway down, he just blows right by the young lady. And he runs a 10.41 on a 9.70 dial-in. Donna Harris runs 11.97 on 11 flat, almost a second off of her dial-in. Back to the starting line, Sean Dowdle from Landon, Maryland, dialed in 11.75. Rick McCary dialed in 9.70. The Volkswagen van, I kind of like this car. Very seldom do you see one of these cars in competition. The Volkswagen style bus, I call them bus. Let's see if he almost pulls the wheels again. Yeah, he pops the clutch and gets on down that 8th mile. Here comes McCary in the 68 sedan Bug. He's coming on. Dowdle way down the road. McCary not going to be able to catch him as Sean Dowdle wins with an 11.81 on 11.75 dial-in. Rick McCary's dial-in 9.70. He runs a 9.81. Here's Chip Simmons on the spectator side against Steve Dantzler. Dantzler's dial-in 10.40. Simmons dialed in at a 9.85. Dantzler gets a little bit of a head start. There he goes, off and running. Here comes Simmons. Good light for Simmons. He cut that one extremely close. Dantzler starting to move, but here comes Simmons. Can the horsepower do it? Right at the finish line, Simmons does it with a 9.89 on a 9.85 dial-in. Dantzler goes down to the feet, 10.69 on a 10.40 dial-in. Here's the Super Pickle again of Sid Pulliam. Don't forget, this car is a fully automatic transmission car, so that eliminates the process of shifting and missing gears and having problems that way. Dialed in 12.45. Eddie Woodmansey from Colonial Heights, Virginia. His dial in 1104. Woodmansey knows he's got to go on this guy because he doesn't wait on anybody. The Super Pickle always leaves extremely well. Both cars staging very carefully. Pulliam's light coming down. He's off and running. Here comes Woodmansey. Woodmansey leaves too quick. The red light jumps on him and says, gotcha. Sid Pulliam, your winner for this one. They're going to still run all the way through. Woodmansey takes on by him at the finish line, but it's no good at all as he runs 11:38. Big red light got him on the starting line. Sid Pulliam advances. He runs 12:60 on a 12:45 dial-in. Here's Jim Otterbein from Hazleton, Pennsylvania, dialed in 10:52. Craig Sikowski on this side runs a 10:70 for a dial-in. Ready to go. Both cars leave almost simultaneously. Otterbein's got his hands full with Sikowski side by side. It's anybody's race. At the finish line, only electric beams can show who wins, and it's going to be Sikowski going down to defeat. He runs a 10:75. Your winner, Jim Otterbein, 10:66 on a 10:52 dial-in. Okay, guys, grab your girl and grab hold of that seat. Here we go into the semifinals of the Super Pro category. Rich Parker against Larry Westmoreland's timekeeper car. Parker dialed in 7.07. Larry Westmoreland dialed in a 7.18. And these cars run extremely well. How'd you like to have one of these cars to drive around on the street and run through the hamburger joints and, kick sand in the bully's face? Now that would be extremely, extremely bad on somebody's ego. Have a car like this come up there and just rip you a new one, if you know what I mean. Parker back into the starting beams very carefully, burning those tires, getting them hot. Westmoreland says, come on, I'm ready to go. All staged up. Westmoreland's light comes on first. Now here comes the Christmas tree. They leave almost together. Parker not waiting on him. Westmoreland, here he comes, and it's going to be Parker way out in front. And Parker runs a 7:20 on a 7:07 dial-in. Westmoreland runs 7:29 on a 7:18. And Mike Hall is going to be able to make a by run, but he doesn't have to make a pass, so he advances into that category. Here we go into the semifinals in the pro category. One step down from the Super Pros, Mike Cole against James Sartwell. Cole down in 895, Sartwell down 765. Air-cooled Type 1 engine, the 75 Rabbit is Sartwell. Cole out and running. Here comes Sartwell. Boy, he blows right by him, 3/4 of the way down. Sartwell, your winner, 787 on a 765 dial-in. Cole runs a 913 on an 895. And Dave Webster in the Gia gets a by run. He doesn't have to make a pass as we move into the quarterfinals of modified stock with Sean Dowdle out in front and moving down. Remember now, Dowdle dialed in 1175. Chip Simmons has got to go. His dial in 985, and it's Dowdle getting the finish line, and he breaks out big time. 9/100ths of a second. He runs 1166 on 1175 dial in. Chip Simmons, your winner. He runs a 1007 on a 985 dial in. Still in the semifinals of modified stock category, running them hot and heavy so the Super Pros have a chance to cool down. Their cars just do get a little bit hotter. I guarantee with the horsepower that those guys are making, they've got to cool down a little bit, so the modified stockers have to run hot and heavy. Good one coming up for you now. Sid Pulliam, the Super Pickle, an automatic transmission car, and Jim Otterbein. Otterbein dialed in 1052, Super Pickle dialed in at 1248. 2-second head start for the Super Pickle. And Sid Pulliam, I guarantee he's going to be right on that green light. Otterbein knows he's got to go. Here comes the tree down. Pickle out in front. Here he goes. Otterbein leaves too quick. Red light catches him right on the starting line. Sid Pulliam will advance. He runs a 1250 on a 1248 dial-in. Otterbein runs a 1434 on a 1052 dial-in. And that means Bob Hannum gets the by run. Hey, don't go away. We've got more Volkswagen racing coming up for you. But we thought we'd take a little bit of time out and show you some of the things that are going on this afternoon at Old Dominion Raceway right out here in the parking lot. How about an old-fashioned Volkswagen part swap meet? Hundreds and hundreds of people looking for that prized possession that will go on their Volkswagen. It may be just a functional item that might get the car running again. Maybe an alternator, a generator, a set of lights, some door panels, just something to get that thing going again. Mile to mile, we've got parts galore, custom, chromed, Anything that your little heart desires is right here this afternoon. And if you don't believe it, you ought to attend one of these. Some of the gauges we're talking about, big box full of them, door panels, window frames, radios, hubcaps, wheel rims. And we've got information about Volkswagen drag racing. Some of the finest people you'll ever meet in your life, you'll be finding them at Volkswagen drag races. Come out, bring out the whole family and have a great time. If you're looking for something for the kids, you'll also find them out here. A lot of people have the novelty items on sale. Here's just a few of them, wood-carved Volkswagens. We've got plastic Volkswagens and good-looking young ladies to sell it to you. And if you're wondering about some of the other things that you'll see out here in the parking lot, how about custom auto tags on your VW? Specialize in what better way to have a great afternoon than the old-fashioned barbecued. Crazy people here this afternoon at Manassas, Virginia. Moving now to our racing action again, semi-final round in modified stock category. Bob Hannum against Sid Pulliam in the Super Pickle. Hannum dialed in 970, the Super Pickle dialed in 1250. And let's see what Sid Pulliam is going to be able to do. Definitely the advantage to Pulliam with the automatic transmission car. Hannum has got to shift the car 4 times, or maybe 3 times. It all depends on how he's got the car geared. Remember, he dialed in 970. Pulliam leaves first with a 1250 dial-in. Both cars staged. Starter flips the tree. Down on the green light is Sid Pulliam. Hannum has got a long way to go, and he's off and running. Looks good. He's shifting like you wouldn't believe. Pulliam's still out in front. And at the finish line, it's going to be Pulliam, your winner. He runs a 1266. on a 1250 dial-in. Bob Haddam taking the loss with a 986 on a 970 dial-in. Pro category finals, Sartwell and Webster. And Webster leaves first, his dial-in 805. James Sartwell dialed in a 765. And it's going to be Webster getting there first. He runs an 808 on an 805 dial-in. James Sartwell runs a 769 on a 765 dial-in. Super Pro category finals coming up for you right now. Rich Parker dialed in a 707. His competition, Mike Hall from Chesterfield, Virginia, in the Muscle Bug, dialed in a 740 for all the gold in California, as they used to say. Both cars pulling a little wheel stand as they burn in those tires on the starting line, trying to get the best traction possible. Parker not to be outdone by Hall as he does a little wheel stand of his own. Not very big, but a little bit impressive, especially if you're used to seeing cars not get off the ground. Parker dialed in, as we said, 707. Hall dialed in 740. Hall gets the head start. Both cars, they're staging into the starting beams. Here we go. Grab onto your seats. This one's going to be a good one. Hall stages first. Tree comes down. Hall leaves first. Parker's got to catch up. And it's almost anybody's race. Here comes Parker at the finish line. Parker wins with a 717 to Hall's 749. That's the way it goes. And due to technical difficulties, unfortunately, we will not be able to bring you the final run, as Sid Pulliam went on to defeat Chip Simmons. And while we've got a chance, let's talk with Tom DeLacio and the Super Pickle driver, Sid Pulliam.
My name is Tom DeLacio, president of People's Car Production, and we're here in Manassas, Virginia for Bug Out 13, and we're here now with the winner of the Modified Eliminator, Sid Pulliam. Sid, can you tell me a little bit about your car?
Basically, my car is stock, other than the appearance. We have a 1641 engine in it with a fully automatic Type 3 transmission. There's no modifications done at all to the transmission. What we went out to do was have a car that, for the least amount of money, come out here and bracket race, and that's what we've done.
Well, it just goes to show in winning here that you don't have to have the fastest car in order to win.
That's true.
1641, that's 87 millimeter slip-ins.
Right.
No modifications to block whatsoever.
No modifications to block. It's got stock heads. It's got baby Dorlettos on it with an AP3 cam in it. I used to work out of this car, then made a race car out of it.
And you were a sign painter by profession?
I'm a sign painter, right.
Well, congratulations. Here with me now is Rich Parker, winner of Pro Gas. Rich, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
Fine job and a super job of driving. Can you tell the folks a little bit about your car?
Yeah, it's a 66 Bug, as you can see that, and the engine's a 2275 cc.
What's the bore and stroke on that?
It's an 82 millimeter stroke with a 94 millimeter bore. Has 48 millimeter Weber carburetors and an Engel FK89 cam.
Who did your heads?
It was done by Engine Engineers in Hatboro, Pennsylvania.
Obviously did some good work because the car was running super consistent
They
times.
sure did.
How much does it weigh?
Weighs about 1,100 pounds.
Did you do all the work yourself?
The car was built by me myself, yes. Paint and all.
Including the interior?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you're running in the way of gears in the transmission?
Yes, Tom, I have stock first and second gears, early model. And also I have a Gene Berg close ratio third and fourth, 158 and 131 with a 412 ring and pinion.
How about your axles?
The axles are stock Type 3.
Stock?
Knock on wood, they're holding up just fine after 3 years.
That suspension must be set up right, because I tried running stock axles years and years and years ago when they didn't make as much horsepower, and I couldn't keep one together.
Tom, I think a lot of it has to do with the weight of the car. Naturally, the lighter the car, the easier it is on parts.
What was the ET on your final pass?
717.
How close was it?
I was ahead pretty good cruising.
You must have cut the tree on him.
Exactly.
Well, the car was certainly hooking up.
Yes, this year the car seems to really be reacting off the starting line, and it's made me a better driver.
Well, Rich, again, I'd like to congratulate you on a fine job.
Appreciate that. I really do.
And look forward to
Thank
seeing you again.
Lucky to-
Thank you very much.